Montgomery County 911, what's the address of the emergency?
It's not unusual for us as either level one or as a CERT platoon or a company to go to assist either the U.S. Park Police or the Capitol Police in D.C. because they simply don't have the numbers. When you have 50, 100,000 people, you just don't have enough police officers.
Sarge, can I ask you a question really
Sure.
quick? So you say as a level one, it's not unusual. And I understand with level one, we have more training. How many officers in CERT are level one? Or is it the entire team?
I think there's about, including the command staff, which also go through the same school with us, it's roughly around 60 or so at any given time.
Okay.
On January 6th, I think we had about 40 plus command staff.
Okay.
And so we go down very early in the morning. Now it's Chief Tom Manger, but in the past it's whoever the chief is, will deputize us and swear us in. So we actually have full and concurrent law enforcement authority as Capitol Police officers on that day. So we can take any action that we need to take.
All right. So the mission was just to go down there and be ready in case there was a need, or were you deploying anywhere?
I think we knew that there was a speech at the White House, on the back of the White House on January 6th that President Trump was giving. I don't think even the Capitol Police really anticipated that would turn into what it did, that it would eventually come down to the Capitol and cause all the problems that it did. But we were there to help them.
Right. We got a mutual aid request and we signed off, right away. So you all meet at a certain facility, a central point, because we have all this equipment, right?
Yes.
Now, Willie, you mentioned your wife and her response to the going to Baltimore.
Yes.
So, what was your interaction getting ready to go to this thing?
I got my gear together. Whenever we deploy. So as whether you're CERT or level one, we are kind of expected to have our gear on us and ready to go at a moment's notice.
Right.
Every now and then, our sergeant or someone in or in our chain of command will send out an email. Hey, we're getting word that this may happen or that may happen. Please make sure that all your gear is ready to go and with you. So that day, had to pack a lunch because we didn't know how long we were going to be. Had to make sure all my gear was ready. I'm getting ready to leave, and my wife and my son, my two dogs, sheepdogs, are there, and she looks at me and I look at her, and she just kind of gives me that look, and I say I'll be okay. I promise I'll be home. I'll check in as soon as I can. We do every day. We do a family hug, so we did a family hug. I got in my car and I drove off, but I was nervous.
Sure. And now you're making me look bad that you're having family hugs before you go.
I'm thinking of something
wow.
I need to start.
Well, it's a family. It's something that we started, right? Before we go to bed, we do a family hug, and it's just kind of a way to end the day. You're fortunate and blessed enough I'm fortunate and blessed enough to make it home. Yeah. Before we put our son down, we read to him, we sing to him as he goes to sleep. We just do a family hug. Nice. And it's just, something that we started.
So now we're at SOD, and I'm sorry, I keep using acronyms.
I know.
Darn it. We're at Special Operations Division. You guys are kind of getting your gear together. There's always, I was in the military. I've been on plenty of police things. You build in a little bit of time. You get your stuff together. Something changed. What happens?
Well, first, I would say, fortunately, our command staff had a discussion the day before and had decided to bring us in a couple hours earlier than we originally anticipated, because when we were going to start was at the time that the president's speech was starting, and we realized that was a problem. So we had a couple extra hours built in on the beginning of it. And we were just there doing our normal thing, getting our vans loaded up. And you could tell very quickly that something was going on down there. And it really hadn't hit the news yet. where you would hear it on the radio or something like that. We have radios that we monitor the Capitol Police with, and you could tell that it was really going sideways down there very early in the day.
Okay.
And so our command staff came out and said, gear up, we're going down there. And it's very unusual for us to drive that distance with all our gear on because it is tiring, it is heavy, it is hot, even in January.
Sure.
And a number of us, you can see he's much bigger than me. So imagine him with all his pads on.
Right.
We don't fit in all the vans that way, so we were really spreading out. I rode down with Sergeant Kevin Ream. I don't know if you were in the van, but...
No, I rode down with Lieutenant, I forgot who it was, but I rode down with the lieutenant.
Because of all the
in
gear,
their
we had to
car.
jump into other cars
Yeah.
because you can't fit in the vans with all your stuff on.
So what was
basically.
going through your mind as you say it was very unusual that you would be asked to gear up before you went? So at what point did it start setting in?
I think we were starting to get word that people had been storming barricades and things like that. And we were listening to the Capitol radio driving down there, and I think it really kind of ramped up a notch when we could hear that they were yelling about shots being fired inside the Capitol. At that time, we had no idea who was doing that and for what purpose. We just knew that they were under siege.